113, in which Matt Garrity picks the brain of 3 adepts. Nominally, anyway. Them being myself, Joe Zabinski, and Lord John. But first...
The REAL Rosenkreuz Orden!
Haven't heard that one in a while, have we? This is the segment in which, most often in this segment, I am reciting the Fama Fraternitatis, which was plastered all over, a certain city in Germany back 400 years ago, and it sort of started, the lighting isn't great. Yeah, that's better. It doesn't look as creepy that way. Okay, there's the shadow. Anyway, this is for the people on YouTube again, for those of you listening. All right, yeah, here we go. So Frater Yodtav, or Frater IT, was kind enough to recite the entire thing in the original German. And so what you'll be hearing at first, and then in the background under, the English, is him reciting the original Fama. And then what I'm reciting is the original English translation of that original Fama Fraternitatis.
Dieses Gewölbe unterteilten wir in 3 Teile. Die Kuppel oder den Himmel, die Wände oder
This
Seiten
vault
und den
we
Boden
parted
oder das
in
Pflaster.
3 parts.
Über den Himmel
The upper
werdet ihr
part,
jetzt nicht
or
mehr
siding,
vernehmen.
the wall, or
Also
side,
gemäß den 7
the
Seiten
ground,
im
or
leuchtenden
floor.
Zentrum in 7 Dreiecke
Of the
aufgeteilt
upper
waren.
part you shall understand no more at this time, but that it was divided according to the 7 sides in the triangle which was in the bright center. But what therein is contained, you that are desirous of our society shall, God willing, behold the same with your own eyes. Every side or wall is parted into 10 squares, every one with their several figures and sentences, as they are truly showed and set forth concentratum here in our book. The bottom again is parted in the triangle, but because therein is described the power and rule of the inferior governors, we leave to manifest the same, for fear of the abuse by the evil and ungodly world. But those that are provided and stored with the heavenly antidote do without fear or hurt tread on and bruise the head of the old and evil serpent, which this our age is well fitted for. Every side or wall had a door for a chest, wherein there lay diverse things, especially all our books, which otherwise we had, besides the vocabulario of Theophrastus, Paracelsus of Hodenheim, and these which daily unfalsifieth we do participate. Herein also we found his Itinerario and Vita, whence this relation for the most part is taken. In another chest were looking glasses of diverse virtues, as also in other places were little bells, burning lamps, and chiefly wonderful artificial songs. Generally all was done to that end, that if it should happen, after many 100 years, the fraternity should come to nothing, they might by this onely vault be restored again. Now, as we had not yet seen the dead body of our careful and wise father, we therefore removed the altar aside. Then we lifted up a strong plate of brass, and found a fair and worthy body, whole and unconsumed, as the same is here lively counterfeited, with all the ornaments and attires. In his hand he held a parchment called tea, the which next unto the Bible is our greatest treasure, which ought not to be delivered to the censure of the world.
And so, without further ado, let's get to that interview, or conversation, shall we?
Greetings, Frater. Welcome to the Esoterinerd podcast.
Excellent.
Sweet. Nice to meet you in person finally. Well, sort of.
You as well, brother.
Face to face.
You got it. Love the necklace.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So yeah, it's nice that you're the first one to pop on here, because this all started with you were asking me some questions, and I thought, hey, like, I don't know, I'm no longer, I've sort of retired from teaching Golden Dawn 99%. And so I thought it would be better, rather than just like sit down and compose an email response, I thought it'd be better to get like four, me and three other perspectives from people who've gone through the whole Golden Dawn system. Yeah, and that I think that would be actually more useful, because what ends up happening, if you only have one teacher, then you're kind of part of like a lineage, you know what I mean? Like, and no need to like, and with something that's so sacred and precious as kind of one's own personal relationship with God, like Jesus said, pray in the closet. And so you're asking a stranger on the internet, for all intents and purposes, teach me how to pray in the closet better. And so it's like, I just thought it would be a good idea. And they're all from different places now. One of them is up in Canada, you know him. And then one is an author, but he's not, he practices magic, but he's not a practicing member of an order. And then the third one is still in the order that I left. And I'm not in direct contact with my teacher of many years, who I was living with him, basically. I mean, at the temple, I lived at the temple, and he would come and go. His name was, I think it's okay to say his name was Ramsey. And so John over in London, I asked him a question, and he says, oh, well, I just asked Ramsey, and he said this. And it blows my mind that he's like still in regular contact with my old teacher. So it's really quite a spectrum of people in different places. Hey, there he is. Speak of the devil.
Yeah. Hey, how
I
you
was
doing?
just talking about you, brother.
I can hear that. How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good.
I have RC's hat on.
Nice. Hey, can you turn your phone horizontal?
I can try. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Just so we're all good for YouTube.
Oh, that's way better.
Yeah, that's nice. Oh,
Good
I like
to
your
see
shirt.
you, man. Really good to see you.
Very cool. I was
How
just
are you
telling
doing?
him you're in direct contact with Ramsey. Do you think it's okay to say Ramsey?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, nobody knows really who Ramsey is. But
Yeah. In my book, I call him Akhenaten.
that's perfect.
But
brilliant.
everybody
That
calls
makes
him
sense.
Mercurius. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
It's like
right. Yeah,
has curious in it too, so it's nice.
that figures. Yeah. Oh, wow. Excellent.
Because he was my teacher for, God, like a huge chunk of my life was spent in like one-on-one regular working with him. And so it tripped me out. We were talking yesterday, and you said you had just asked him a question we were discussing, and he said this. And
yeah, we were talking about that. We had a discussion, didn't we? And then I just happened to be talking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just happened to be talking to him, and I asked him the question. I said, "Well, what is that thing?" And he responded. So
the all three of us had him as a teacher.
Yeah.
I mean, you still do. It's
Yeah.
just so interesting. We have such an interesting panel here.
Yeah.
I think this is my first time. Sorry.
I was going to say this panel is colored by the unseen, right? If all of us were taught by him.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he's here.
Other than Frater DM at the time, I think you're the first active member of the old order to be on the Esoterinerd podcast. I mean, at the same time as being actively a member of
our old alma mater for all intents and purposes, not counting the whatever's going
Yeah.
on with the EOGD or, you know, but like I consider
Right.
Ramsey at ISIS to be my alma mater.
Yeah.
My alma mater.
Well, mine too, kind of. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's been amazing, actually. I can't believe the time has gone. It's
Yeah.
and you're in India.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's in different places, and it's cool.
So let's turn it over to Matt real quick. Matt, how did you become interested in practicing the LBRP and the middle pillar and all these things?
So I was actually interested in occult sciences when I was fairly young, just like yourself. And then I had a teacher or someone that I kind of, he knew more about it than what I did. He ended up kind of being kind of like, I think he had some psychological issues, but you know what? He kind of showed me the path a little bit, and he kind of got me interested. He initially said that the Freemasons had well, I guess they do have some Kabbalistic knowledge, but a lot of it's exoteric. But I ended up joining the Freemasons, and but that wasn't the knowledge that I was after. I was after, because like I was already doing the LBRP in the middle pillar. I wanted to learn more about magic itself. One of the Freemasons at the lodge that I had joined, he was a member of the Golden Dawn, and I had brought up some of the rituals and stuff that I was doing, and he kind of pulled me aside, and he said that he was a member of the Golden Dawn in Toronto, and he ended up being the Hierophant actually. Yeah, no, I joined the lodge in Toronto, and
that means your friend's teacher's teacher was Ramsey.
Ramesses.
I wonder.
Your friend's teacher
Yeah,
was
that's absolutely
named
right. That's absolutely right.
and his teacher was Ramsey.
Ramesses.
As long as it's the same, I don't know, as long as it's the same Toronto order.
I
right?
mean, well, if it was the other Toronto order, then that would have been. Are we allowed to say on here? We won't say his last name. But anyway, yeah. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I wonder if it is the same order. I'm just looking at my book right now to see if it says in the book here it says from Isis Serenia, but that wasn't my temple. I think my
was it the
temple
Holy Order of the Golden Dawn?
No, it says Hermetic Order, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so I wonder.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
This
maybe
is
that's
it's I do know.
okay. That's Cicero order.
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh,
yeah, that's the
yeah.
lineage.
Okay,
I had a
okay.
feeling. Yeah.
But she was also a member of our order for a little while, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
was as well was involved, was he not?
Oh, he
Or
was
was that-
connected with that. Oh, wow. So she's connected with everybody. Wow. I didn't
Is
know.
Zach involved with the Cicero order?
I don't think so. He did the Holy
No,
Order of the Golden Dawn, and that was kind of an extreme thing. I don't want to talk about, I don't want to gossip on here. Hi, Zach, if you're
Right.
listening. I mean, good vibes. Feel free to come on as a guest, you know.
Yeah, that'd
we
be
can-
awesome.
Yeah,
would be cool.
yeah. We can, you know, let water under the bridge be water under the bridge as far as any weirdness that went on the internet, you know, 15 years ago when we were all young and dumb and all that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It'd be great to see.
so okay, so you got involved, but you didn't join, or there wasn't an active temple?
No, I did join, and there was an active temple. I was
Okay.
active for a bit. I kind of took a break the past few years, but just kind of been doing my own solo thing. I think that they are still up and running in Toronto, but I don't know if they're still, because of COVID and everything. I'm not sure if the lodge is
as much
active
as
and
anybody
everything
can
like that.
be in COVID time. Yeah.
Exactly. So I've just been kind of doing my thing solo. In the future, I definitely like to join a lodge again, and like I'm 3 = 8 right now. Pretty much.
Oh,
I'm
okay. I
almo-
didn't realize. Okay.
Yeah, almost ready for my 4 = 7. Right now I'm just like pretty heavy into the tarot. Trying to let that all sink in, and just learning how the paths and the tarot all connect on the tree of life. So yeah, just
Yeah.
really
it all really
putting
comes
that
together
right
in
now.
3/8.
Okay, cool. Good.
Yeah. Oh, did we? Oh, we're still waiting for one. Oh, well, he'll come a little fashionably late. That's okay. Yeah, I didn't realize. I don't know why I thought you were like a self-initiate.
No, no, I have been through the initiations at the Toronto Lodge. Yeah,
How cool.
yeah, for sure.
Wow. I mean, I want to ask questions, but I don't feel like it's appropriate on a public
Go
forum for
for
me
it.
to ask
Oh,
about
it's
someone
fine.
else's. No, I mean, I don't want to ask about their temple. Is it nice?
Gorgeous.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. We were
Yeah.
using the Masonic Lodge in Toronto. Is a real older Masonic lodge, so it had that like
And
it
they
was such a
decorate
cool
it
vibe
nicely.
to it.
They
Definitely.
transform it. Okay.
For sure,
Cool.
for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. How fun. Okay, well that's nice. Yeah, I mean, I hear nothing but good things about that order. You know, we've met. I think, have we all three met the Ciceros at Power Week?
Different times, I think.
Yeah,
but-
yeah,
Yeah, I've met them before. Yep.
yeah. I've met them a couple times. It was very nice.
Mhm. Yeah, it was very nice.
They did
Um,
that Tree of Life walkthrough, the live path working where you physically walk up the Tree of Life, and they
Yeah,
they
I was
cast
just
me
thinking about
as
that the other day.
they cast
Yeah.
me as Hode, and Tabitha was Netzach, and she walks right across the tower path and beats me with a rose. I'm like, this is gonna be, like they're doing imprinting directly into the subconscious mind. She's telling me to get out of my head and wearing a green robe and slapping me with a rose. I'm like, okay.
Hit me with that rose. Oh yeah.
Yeah. How cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do it again, Mum. Madam Netzach. Oh wow, that's very cool. Yeah, I think I met them in London. They came to do a talk about Westcott's tablets at some event in London, and so I met them there.
I think I
Yeah,
remember
really cool.
seeing that online. Yeah.
She was. I mean, I thought Tabitha was really, really a great presenter, but Chick tended to like talking and talking and talking, and it was kind of interesting combination. But yeah, it was a very good event.
So they talked about, were they talking about Westcott's elemental tablets?
Yeah.
Cool.
And I think they'd managed to acquire them or borrow them or something. So from the lodge in England, the United Grand Lodge, and so they've been analyzing them and using them in their book about the concourse of the watchtowers, I think. So, but they're very interesting tablets because there's lots of additional colors and different things. I don't know if you've seen them, but they have all these stuff around the edges and stuff.
Like the four scales on every square.
On every square, and also I think around there's a sort of border as well with other stuff on it. I'll see if I can send you the. But they're in the book. The Cicero's published on the concourse of the watchtowers, which you can get still, I think, on their website. So
I bought it from them, and then I gave my copy to Robbie, and I went to South Africa and was reminded by Siddhartha Tao that I had promised to give it to him.
Oh,
so I ordered a copy for him, but I don't have a copy. I don't think I've ever even opened it, but I got it so that anyway.
Amazing.
That's my story.
You went to South Africa.
Yeah.
There was
like? Oh, great. I recommend episodes I think 4 and 98 and 97, I want to say. They're all about that. Basically, I mean, for the regular listeners, I'll do a very quickie version because I did a big breakdown, I think 3 or 4 episodes ago. Basically, so Siddhartha K, he spent some time in Japan in a Tendai, is that right? Temple, oh, what my brain is like having there's the temple that has the 1,000 statues of of the 1,000-armed goddess Kanon Avalokiteshvara Kuan Yin,
Oh,
by
right.
whatever name I call thee, thou art nameless unto eternity. And so I think that's Tendai. I always want to say Tenzin, but
Right.
that's like the Avatar's son who trains Korra,
Yeah.
you know. But anyway, so he spent some time there. I don't know exactly how long, but he got really into the practice of chanting the Heart Sutra.
Wow.
Setu maka hanya haramita shingo konji zaibo zagyojin hanya. I'm showing off. Anyway,
Wow.
so anyway, so he came back, and at some point, I don't know in what order everything happened, but he became a Scientologist and a Freemason, and then at a certain point, he was in staff, like he was administering Scientology. His brother was running a Scientology center
Really?
on the border of Zimbabwe.
Wow.
And so then he had this epiphany. I want to start a new religion, and I'm going to call it the Gnostic Church of the Black Sun Kuho Yu, and we're going to have as our core practice connecting with the ultimate source, even beyond Keter, the Ein, beyond even the 3 negative veils, but we'll use the name Ku, which refers to emptiness in Bantu, and we'll recite the Heart Sutra, which, by the way, has the word ku in it a whole bunch. And
wow.
and so then he built with a Masonic structure and brought in all this Buddhism and all this Hermeticism and traditional African from what he was raised with. And so the Scientologist said, stop or leave. And he said, oh, okay, I guess I'm leaving. And they told his wife, you either have to get him to stop or divorce him. And so she divorced him. He like really went all in with this thing. And so I was getting divorced, and so was he. And so I thought it was a sign, you know, because he was one of the first guests on the Esoterinerd podcast, and we both kind of had similar ideas and practices, you know. So I mean, we both had gravitated to a particular type of practice. It's really interesting on different sides of the world. And so I went and spent 10 days with him, and that was very interesting. And yeah.
I bet. What a cool place to go. Wow.
Yeah. And actually, I made them, one thing I didn't mention in the other episode was, you know, I was feeling kind of ornery, feeling kind of frisky. So I made him the chief tools, you know, or the Hierophant and the Hegemon, and we had a sword painted, and then conducted a neophyte initiation for everybody and gave them all names, and then had them all step out and just kind of real quick initiated K into 5 = 6, you know, and did the bestowal of the Hierophant and the Equinox, and he used my tattoo, you know. So he's, I guess, I guess in that they have a Golden Dawn subset of their education. They're from the BT lineage.
Yes.
but they're not all about Golden Dawn. In fact,
lineage.
that's just one of many things that they teach there. So yeah, so I got to go and kind of teach like the core members in that part of South Africa. They've got members in Congo and all over the world. There was a guy up in France. I'll just tell some more stories about. I haven't told this story. There was a guy up in France, and he was like homeless, and you know, I think he was having a lot of trouble. And then and so he was getting arrested, and so he got arrested, and so they said you have to check in once a week, and you know, so he checked in once a week, and they were surprised, and they're like, usually people from, you know, like African migrants who are shown to be like alcoholics and homeless and all this, like they don't check in every week. And so they asked him, they noticed he was writing like Kuho U 1193 at the end of his signature every time. And so they were they were like, what is this that you're writing here, you know? And he said, it's my religion and I can't talk about it, it's secret, you know. And so then they told him like, well, you know, tell that organization that we would like to endorse them, because you know, by their fruits shall you know them. like, why do you come here every week? And he says, because my word is my bond. I'm nothing if not my word. And so if I say I'm going to be here next week, then I do everything I can to make sure I'm here next week. And they're like, that's really interesting, you know, coming out of your mouth, like who's your teacher? And so that was kind of cool. Like the French government became interested in his group.
Right.
So.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was happy to go, like, give them whatever I could as far as direct experience and, you know, with Golden
very
Dawn
cool.
work, because they've got the books, but, you know, to have someone, there was another interesting story, and it's a retelling. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. Basically, his nephew saw a picture of me in an Egyptian headdress, and he was saying, you know, these white people, they tell us to be Christian, but then they practice African magic. And this kid was looking at my picture like, I hated that guy, you know. And so then I flew down there and met him, and, you know, shared everything I had with him, and I was grateful to receive. And so he at the end of the week said, thank you for just changing my whole perspective on everything in the world, you know, like, and
Wow.
now I realize that these mysteries are sacred, and they're for everybody. They're for the human race. And, you know, they shouldn't be limited to Africa, and they shouldn't be, you know, like this and that. And so, you know, it was really nice. And he gave me a copy of Cleopatra and Caesar and Cleopatra. It's like,
Oh, really?
yeah, very interesting.
Wow.
Okay, I've talked
cool
too much.
bit.
I've said too much. This is for Matt. I got us together for Matt. Ask us questions. If you have 3 adepts that you could just ask any question that, you know.
Yeah.
For sure. No, I appreciate this, guys.
Yeah.
I'll kick it off with maybe your 5 = 6, like your vault experience. And when you go through the 5 = 6, do you have a direct experience, like what you're just experiencing? Like, do you have do you receive higher levels of consciousness and you're aware of it, or is it, again, like the elemental rituals where maybe it just sinks into the subconscious, you're not fully aware of the energies? Do you guys kind of understand what I'm?
Yeah, I've been talking
Yeah.
so much. Do one of you want to go first?
Sure. So your question is, how is our experience of the 5 = 6 initiation in the moment?
I guess so, because I hear like 5 = 6 is associated with the sphere of Tiferet, right? And I guess it's also the sphere of the HGA. So do you experience I guess higher levels of consciousness? Like, is there kind of like a switch that happens that you notice, or like, do you feel any divine energy? Like, what's because that is, I guess, the goal of it, right, is to become the adept to synchronize all the elementals. And like, what does it feel like going through the 5 = 6, and is there a direct experience with the HGA or higher levels of consciousness in general?
Yeah. I think the first, okay. So your first question is like what was it like, right?
Yeah.
And then it sounds like your second question is more specifically about the Holy Guardian Angel. Like, is the experience of the Holy Guardian Angel involved in the 5 = 6 initiation at all?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think to answer your first question, like what is the 5 = 6 like? On the surface, it's a lot like any other initiation, right? So like, if I was to describe to you what it was like physically to go through the 5 = 6, it would be a lot like any other initiation, except not at all, for a lot of different reasons. I think so I'm going to try to like go into like just a couple deeper layers of it. I think the first layer underneath is, you're right, it's sort of it's a culmination of everything that's come before, right? And you can really say the same thing about any like hierarchical initiation structure, right? So as you go along, you're like, you know, I've worked for so many months, and now I'm a Theoricus. I've worked for so many years, and now I'm a portal, right? And then at some point you say, I've worked for this long, and I've become a 5=6 now. And that's an important psychological component of it. But I think but most importantly, when you're actually going through the 5=6, you were in a completely different state of mind. I think, and that has a lot to do with the practices of our common alma mater. But like when you actually get into it, you're totally far away. I mean, like you're you know, you are exhausted. You are very open to the higher when you actually go through it, and you're also very passive. I remember that's something that really that's something that was an important part of the 5=6 that I didn't see coming, was just how like passive you are when you're actually there. You're like, okay, here's this thing now, here's this thing now. Oh, I have to say this. Oh, okay. Like, and you don't remember this when you're going through it. You do not remember the structure of like what's supposed to come next. Everybody, and this is a really important part of it, is that you, as an aspirant, when you've hit 5=6, it's like, because I mean, like there's books all over the place that describe various aspects of this, right? And you can like study it in depth before you ever go through it, but when you're actually going through it, you really don't know anything about it. And it's the community of adepti that are around you that are literally initiating you into this thing. It's probably 5=6 was probably the rawest initiation that I've ever gone through, where it's like, you know, I thought I was ready, I was not ready, and then like, you know, days later, okay, now I'm ready, and I'm like, okay, here we go, and like, and everybody around you has already gone through this, and they know what you're going through, and they help you. And so really, when you join the College of Adepti, those other adepts around you are very important, because they are part of your community. Without those other adepti, like, really, are you an adept at all? I think that's a valid question to ask. And I think that's a question that's been with all of us.
The College of Adepti becomes the shared brain, sometimes like a Borg sense. I mean, that the word egregore is defined by the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn as groupthink. So it's not even like, it's like, oh, okay, and it's invented by the Hermetic Order of the Golden, like, at least according to Wikipedia. But yeah, for sure. Like, that was one thing if I had a thought at some point during the day, I wonder this. And then when there were 8 of us together on a Sunday, and like we hadn't really started yet, and I'd say, what do you guys think about this? And I get the opinion of like a brilliant platoon commander in the Marines, followed by like a magician, massage therapist, healer, followed by, you know what I mean? Like a corporate CEO woman, at like, bam, 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 all of which have digested the entirety of the Golden Dawn system. And so that's a battery towards something. I mean, it can be a battery toward nothing, or a battery toward something, or a battery towards the wrong thing. I think those are the 3 options.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I was just thinking real quick, I think not a lot of people in the world can say, my former proctor in the Golden Dawn is now a bona fide bishop in the Episcopal Church, who, by the way, went through the entire system of the Golden Dawn in at least 2 different orders. No, I think only 2. One was ours, and the other was Poke Runyon's Golden Dawn, based out of Culver City. Anyway, so yeah, it must be interesting going through the 5-6 for the second time and being like, you know, it's kind of refreshing not getting whipped in this one, you know. And by the way, I like the way you did the pasto. So the interpreting of lamps is a little different from in the last place I saw this part of the 5=6 initiation. Well done with the, you know, the diversion tactic. So I didn't see you having to rearrange things. You know, like, it's kind of funny to think about.
Yeah, I guess it's a very unique experience, isn't it? I mean, when I went through Neophyte, that was an incredible experience. And I remember afterwards just being dazed and thinking, whoa, what have I just been through? And then, you know, later on, it's a similar experience, I think, with the 5=6. It's like, wow, that was so different and so sufficiently unique that I don't think I could ever have imagined, no matter what I'd read or knew before, you know, about what it was going to be. And it made me think to myself, what is an adept? What is it? I mean, what that's the question I'm still left with, really. What is an adept? You know, it's more than just wearing a white robe. It's more than
a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's like not like a
constant
challenge,
one,
like,
right?
oh, this is challenging, but it's like throw your glove down, you know, like it's a challenge, you know, like, are you gonna, what do you know? I mean, like it should be. I mean, the word Christian ought to mean that, but it, you know, for many doesn't, you know.
And
You know,
in
what's
the sense,
interesting is, oh, go ahead,
Sorry.
John. I'm sorry.
oh no, all I was going to say was, you know, there is the idea that we're all an adept already, and so it's just uncovering that and trying to manifest that through a set of tools that enable you to uncover that, I suppose, throughout the grades and things, because the grades are really artificial divisions, aren't they? You know, really, you could divide up the material in different ways, but they're just the traditional way we do it.
Yeah.
So at the end, you end up with this huge body of knowledge, but actually, what use is knowledge? You know, what use is that when you're finally in going through your 5=6 and you come out the other end and you have those realizations and you start to think, you know, it's not about the external stuff.
Yeah.
At least that's how I kind of saw it, and then start to really question myself even more. You know, it's like when you think you've studied everything and you know everything, you actually know nothing.
There's one
That's how I
moment.
felt.
There's one moment that I don't mind sharing. I gave myself permission a long time ago to share all these things with as I see fit. But anyway, because they made me a chief and everything's except by the permission of the chiefs. And so I'm like, okay, BT, you have permission. So
BT lineage can decide.
Yeah, the BT lineage. So yeah, there's a moment in there's a few, like, you know about the one in Theoricus, I think, where, or maybe Practicus, I'm trying to remember which it is, where the Hieros says, this diagram shows you the correct attributes, of the Hebrew letter to the tarot trumps. And this should never leave your lips. Never share this with a zealotor or a neophyte, and never with the outer world, for it is a long kept secret. And it's like, okay, you know, I read about this when I was a kid in like 1,600 different books, you know, so it's like, there's some anachronistic moments where it's like, let's all pretend that this is Shakespeare times, you know. And so there's one of those where it's revealed the true and accurate colors of the tree of life, where the supernals are white, gray, and black. This is in the 5=6 initiation, and Chesed is blue, and Gebura is red, and the paths are the colors, you know, that we're used to seeing them, that we see them on the cover, that people have tattooed to their bodies, you know, and then we know specifically how Crowley changed it and everything. But there's a moment in the 5=6 initiation where it's revealed, these are the colors, but the way that it's revealed and the wording, and especially, like you said, when you're in that alternate state, you sort of forget that it's like, it's not being revealed to you for the first time. Like maybe you backed up behind the timeline of your own existence, and now you're learning it for the first time or something. And but colors are forces, and the child of the forces are you, is something very close to that line. And so all those colors in the vault, and all of those colors on the tree of life and in the temple, and with the black and white, because the way we did it anyway, I don't know if everybody does it this way, but black ceiling, black walls, black and white tile, and then so the colors all just kind of like stood out. And so things like that. I mean, you don't even need to ever take LSD to go through a good solid 5-6 initiation. Now, I don't know if the Ciceros, in fact, I can bet that they don't, but I'm not going to ask. But we had a thing where we would put the person in a box, like a coffin, like a large, comfy sort of coffin, not very comfortable, with a sleeping bag for like 2.5 days. No, 1.5 days, 24 to 36 hours. And they would start to really stink in there, and someone would be on duty letting them out to go to the bathroom. Otherwise, they were locked in. And so there were all kinds of fun stories about people peeing in the box and someone falling asleep and not waking up when they were knocking. And so that's like, that's going to set you up for anything. You could do that before a neophyte initiation and people would be like, the neophyte initiation blew my fucking mind, but the fact that it's the 5-6 initiation with all these layers and with the vault and all these colors and just wow, and like becoming Christ and all, it's a trip. It's a mind fuck, but it's intentionally a mind fuck. It's designed. I mean, it was designed by the original people back in 1800s to blow your mind. And then we had sort of a showman, let's say, sort of a, how to describe, we had a few people that were like very like stage. There was one guy that was the stage director. That was Ramses. And then there was the head guy was the, sort of the hypnotist, neuro-linguistic programmer. Let's rewire the brains of these people, So it was pretty damn intense. I don't know if anybody in the world does it that way or anything close to that way, what we got. And there was bloodletting. There's like, okay, by the way, we're going to cut you. Do you consent? And like, there was only one person who ever said no. And people were just like, you know what, she's going to fall, she's going to, like, there's no way she didn't get the cut, and then it's when she left, everybody said, see, it's because she didn't get the cut. Like, that's a cult. This is the culty version. And then a lot of whipping. For me, it was speaker wire. They didn't have a proper whip, so they just got some speaker wire with the metal edges sticking out, and a lot of blood when I got home. My girlfriend at the time was horrified. Anyway, that's my story. So I mean, not a lot of like angelic visions or anything, but it was quite an experience. I mean, an otherworldly experience for sure.
Thank you, Matt Garrity, Joe Zabinski, and Lord John, for having this conversation with me on the Esoterinerd podcast tonight. You might notice it cut out kind of weirdly there at the end. Didn't really close properly. There was no response. That was because I was talking to myself. My Wi-Fi had gone down. So the second half of the conversation, because I continued to have Wi-Fi problems that night, the second half of the conversation is on the Magick Without Fears podcast. If I'm not mistaken, episode 65. And so go ahead and tune it on over to Magick Without Fears, and you can have some closure on that conversation. And also, I'm going to put up here, that's my personal YouTube, as opposed to the Esoterinerd, the BT thing. I have a new series here called Buddhist Books.
Work doesn't give you stress. It's you and your state of mind. No, Sadhguru. It's the fucking system. Like, get with the program. Anyway.
Haha, another card. Check it out if you're into it. It's me reciting Buddhist books with commentary. And special thanks to Susumu Ueda and his father and the other monks at Jofuku Inn on Mount Koyasan for the music you're hearing right now. Special thanks to Camille and Kennerly for the harp transition into and out of the interview itself. Special thanks to Rolly and Ash and what's his name and who's it's for being the background dogs in the intro and outro of this episode. And most importantly, special thanks to you, the Esoterinerd, listening to this podcast. So I'll close with a simple prayer that my dad and I used to do after our morning meditations, and that is, to the north and to the south, to the east and to the west, to the spirits of light among us, and to the spirits below, we send out our reverent love and compassion. May all beings be happy. May all beings be serene. May all beings be in peace. Good night.